president has a vice president to run with. We don't have a lieutenant mayor or a vice mayor. We have a mayor of vice. I didn't name anybody. But I am thrilled that Bob Lally has stepped forward to run with me as our treasurer. He's been on the Board of Aldermen. He's been in my position running for mayor and ran a great campaign. He's been a small businessman. He's worked for corporations. And I know that he will do an outstanding job as treasurer. And that brings me to my candidacy. I ran it 6 years ago, and when I was knocking on doors, people asked me, "Well, you're just a fill-in, right? Your name's just on the ballot so that it's not empty." And it was, I don't know, 85 degrees, not quite as warm as it is today. But I asked him, I says, if I was just a fill-in candidate, would I knock on 2,000 doors? I was serious about it then, and I'm serious about it now. It's important that the mayor that leads our city has a good relationship with Hartford and with DC. And in Hartford, we have a Democratic governor. And if everything goes well, he'll get reelected next year. And I know Dan Malloy as we call him now, very well. And of course, his Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman. We've spent many hours together talking. So I think I have a good relationship with them. I've campaigned for Dick Blumenthal, and I've been a supporter of Chris Murphy since he ran for Congress, so I know both of them very well. When it comes to our two congressmen, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, we have an excellent relationship with Rosa, and we're fortunate that we have her campaign manager as one of our candidates and one of our DTC members. Jim Himes and I go back a few years. Jim was a major contributor to my race in 2007, and he and I have spent a lot of time together knocking on doors and meeting people, and I know that we'll be able to call on any of our congressional folks for help, and that's something that we can't do now. Yes, we have 3 Republicans representing us in Hartford, but they're in the minority. And when we even had a Republican governor, and we didn't get any help from Hartford. So I have the ability to open that door, and our current mayor certainly does not. Ethics is a huge, important issue, and our mayor has enhanced his personal wealth at the expense of Shelton. He has used his position to purchase property and sell property, and he makes no qualms about it, that he's a developer. Well, you can't be both a developer and a mayor. It's one or the other. And if you're going to try to do both, you have a basic conflict of interest, especially when you hold the title of Economic Development Officer for the city. It's an obvious conflict, one that he doesn't care about. We went through a number of years where the FBI was investigating corruption here in town, and several people went to prison. One of those was a city employee who admitted taking bribes. He was never fired by the city. He was allowed to resign, thereby keeping his pension. If this had happened in the corporate world, he'd have been gone. It would not have been tolerated. It shouldn't have been tolerated in Shelton. We're now going through a process where another trusted city employee has been charged with stealing almost $1 million. She also was not fired. She was allowed to resign. She's a personal friendship with the mayor. The person that was forced out was the finance director. And yet, everything that we read, he had nothing to do with any of it. And the question is, why didn't the auditors ever find any of these things? Denise and I have a small business, and I reconcile the checkbook every month. And you can't void checks and still count them on the books. It doesn't work that way. If you're going, and the auditors should have picked it up. if they were doing a good job. But again, they were selected by the mayor. The city has taken action. They put a lien on her house. But the question about fiduciary bond has never been answered. The charter clearly calls for a fiduciary bond on individuals who are going to handle city money. Thank you, Judd. The question has been raised. It's never been answered. My suspicion is there is no bond. And the reason there isn't a bond costs money. And if you don't have to spend the money, let's not. Well, now the city will probably be out hundreds of thousands of dollars because we have no bond to protect us. We don't even know if we've gotten a bond to cover future losses. We could talk about how the fire marshal office has been handled. Several years ago, I did research and showed that he was not doing his job. Nothing happened. We finally got a report from the state fire marshal's office, and there were literally hundreds of violations that should have been identified by the fire marshal, and they never were. And yet, nothing happens. We need a mayor that is going to hold departments, supervisors and managers and directors accountable for their actions. And that's one of the things that we will do. We will institute a process whereby departments will be measured on their performance. I'll call on Wayne Bragg. Many of you know Wayne. He's a professor at UConn's MBA, executive MBA program. He has experience having been the controller down at Sikorsky's. And we'll bring that kind of knowledge to setting up a program where the city's managers are held accountable for their actions and the performance of their departments. And I guarantee you that the person responsible for snow removal will not be in Florida during the winter time when we have the potential for snowstorms. The job is to be here running the department. When you run a small business, you realize you can't afford to have people gone for months at a time on vacation. Many of our city employees have a lot of vacation time. But one of the policies that I'll institute is the supervisors can have a week, maybe 10 days. But if they're gone for more than that, we don't need them because somebody else is doing their job. Now, that may fly in the face, and I may have problems with union contracts, but that's the way a business runs. If the people are valuable, you can't allow them to be gone for months at a time. They need to be there doing their job. If they're not there doing, and their job still gets done, then we don't need them. Ethics is a huge problem. One of the things I'll do is institute an executive order that says no city employee can take anything. I don't care if it's a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. Zero tolerance. I can't institute that to elected officials, but anybody that I appoint to a board or commission will have to sign an agreement that they will not take any gifts from any contractors, anyone dealing with the city. I will apply it to myself, and that's why as mayor, I will not accept a free membership to Bronson Country Club that the mayor has enjoyed for all these years. Valued at, I don't know what Bronson gets these days, $5,000, $10,000. That's a nice little penny. If you want to play golf, you pay for it yourself. It shouldn't be given to the mayor. The mayor, it used to be the mayor's position was part-time, and we paid a very small salary. But it's not that way anymore. It's a full-time position. And as a full-time position, we should expect the mayor to be working full-time. And that's what I will do. I'll have to leave my association with the business Denise and I started. She'll probably be happy about that. And I have no ambitions for higher office. So I won't be running around campaigning and trying to raise money so I can run for governor. I will be devoting my time to being mayor. And that's what it should be. It's a full-time job. Finally, taxes. The great lie is Democrats raise taxes and increase spending. And that's just not true. Ronald Reagan, I'm trying to find the right words for it. The conservatives worship him and his approach to taxes. They seem to forget that he raised taxes 13 times during his 8 years as president. But what I will do is I will pledge that the budget that I submit in 2014, for 2014 and 2015, will not increase the mill rate. And that's a pledge that I'm going to make tonight, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Because if I can't present a budget that is balanced and does not raise taxes, then I'll work for free for the year. And I challenge Mark Loretti to make that same promise. Every year we have $5–10 million worth of surplus because the budget's inflated. Because we have people that we have spots that we never fill. In the police department, they return $1 million every year. The library has several people that they're not allowed to fill. So there's money there. So that's my pledge. The mill rate will not increase. We talk about a stable tax base. Well, business can know and the residents can know that if a Democrat's in that office, their taxes are not going to go up. We have a great set of candidates that I'm running with. I'm thrilled that all of you. I'm through Michelle. She's new to this, but she brings youth and a lot of not that young. Well, anybody that has 3 businesses, 3 locations, plus a couple of kids. Yeah. 5, 6. Yeah. But she wants to see things change. We want to see things improve downtown. We have all this building going on, and we still have not addressed traffic and how we're going to get people from one side to the other.
We have no plan.
We have no plan. One other thing I do want to mention is just recently the Board of Aldermen approved a $5.5 million no-bid contract for buses. $5.5 million. And then, with a discussion of how they're going to fuel them and build that, they went into executive session, so nobody knows what they were talking about. But the 7 aldermen that were there, Jack was unavailable. And in executive session, he couldn't share it anyways. No-bid contracts foster problems. We need transparency in our government, and that's what we should have, and that's what we will get when I'm elected mayor. I thank you. Join me. We're going to need to raise some money, folks, but we will have the support, and we'll have Congressman Himes up here knocking on doors with me, and maybe we'll get Rosa, you know. But we'll get him at some fundraisers. So thank you very much for your endorsement. I look forward to the campaign.